Hello, welcome to lesson number 6. It's lesson number 6 already. In this lesson I will explain padding and margin to you, which is the thing that we will use to create some space between things or around things, or well, just that sort of thing. So I'm gonna explain that using these images. To make the changes a little bit more visible, I'm gonna just give these images a background color, something that is not purple. So coral will do. And as you can see, you cannot see the background color right now, and it's because that color is behind these images. So let's start with margin. What margin does is that we can give it a value, 10 pixels, and now there are 10 pixels between or around all of these images. And what you will notice if I drag this page out, we already get the desired effect that I talked about in the last lesson. The images are still in the middle and there is a fixed gap between them. If you think about it, there is actually 20 pixels between these images because all of these images have now 10 pixels around them. So 10 plus 10 is 20, right? If you did not want that to work that way, you could also enter something like 10 pixels on the left. And now there's only 10 pixels on the left. And as you can see, there is only 10 pixels between all of these images right now. If I make that 20, it is the same size as it was before. But let's just leave that at 10 pixels all around the images for now. However, on second thought, let's remove this real quickly because we still need to explain padding. And padding is sort of the same thing, except it's not. So here, so if I enter padding, 10 pixels, it does sort of the same thing, except you can now see some coral. And why is that? If I remove the background color, actually it does exactly the same as the margin does, but it actually doesn't, because what this does is that it makes the image smaller inside of itself, and because of that you can now see the background color that is behind the images, and a margin actually makes the whole image smaller. I can also do it on top of each other. So if I added margin 10 pixels, you can see there is now 10 pixels around all of these images, and also 10 pixels, well, sort of inside the images, that squishes the image inside its own box. And that is the difference between padding and margin. Padding does it inside of its own container-ish thing, and margin actually makes space around the whole object. And just to clarify, just as we did with the margin, you can also add padding on a certain side like the top, and now we only have padding on the top. But I'm gonna remove padding for now because this is all we need. And this just looks great. We can remove this background color because we don't need that, clean up the code a little bit. All of these spaces don't need to be here. There we go, you have added pictures, lined them out, and well, they are looking beautiful. In the next lesson we are gonna add some more content to the page in these two squares. So let's get to it.